Hey, I got a notification. I'm live on YouTube. Hello, everybody. Let me mute this now so it doesn't do that again. I should know now by to do that. And just in case anybody who's here for the first time is not aware, I I am I have had multiple strokes, and normally it's not a problem when I'm well rested and not stressed. You would never know I have had an issue. That doesn't describe this week. Wow, I've been pulled like Stretch Armstrong, and I am so the if the stuttering and or lack, it's the strokes are presenting themselves. But we're here and we're live, and I'm glad that you guys are here. We got a lot that we're going to do tonight. We're going to recap what I've done this week, what I've been working on, and talk about a few subjects that have been funny enough, they were actually brought up tonight in the Lightburn tutorial Facebook group. I had already planned on doing this, and someone posted in Lightburn tutorial, "Hey, how do I do this?" So I posted, "Hey, come check us out. We're going to be live and doing just this exact same thing and how to make this work out." So we're going to do a lot tonight. Tonight is going to be full of tips and tricks. The designs that I may present and show may not be anything that you are interested in at all, but the techniques that I will be discussing will come in handy when trying to design your own projects. So I see we've got a few new names in here that I haven't seen before. I was caught unawares by Patrick that's in the stream tonight. So, oh, Patrick Moore's here. I'm thinking, is that Patrick? But it's not Patrick, it's Patrick. No disrespect, Patrick, but I thought you were the other Patrick, but you're not the other Patrick. So I'm going to look at the different projects that I've been working on this week and the things that were involved in it. And I've actually did a new technique on finishing a product that I actually already have the design on hobowithwood.com. But the finishing, the technique for doing the paint and finishing, I have never done before. And so I actually did this one kind of as a test piece to find out if it would work. And if it did, how well would it turn out? And quite honestly, I am extremely pleased with the result. I was asked this week to do 3 different commission pieces. Actually 2 this week. The third one I'm finishing up from last week, where I did the frames for the diamond art. I ended up redoing those. That's why I never put any frames up from last week on the website, because I ended up redoing those completely. At the customer's request, they're like, "Yeah, it looks good as a double frame," but they would prefer to have just a single, not frame, but single matte instead of double matte look, a single matte. So I redid those, and I'll be taking those to the customer this week to see if they like how those turned out. And while I was in her office, she introduced me into another person who would like to have had some custom artwork done. And they had looked for something that would work for them. I need to shave. I got hairs coming everywhere. She'd gone to Michael's and Hobby Lobby looking for something to put in her bathroom to fill a void, but never could really find anything that she liked. And there was kind of a running joke in their family that anytime there was a trip to go somewhere, anytime there was a destination, everybody was piling in the vehicles to go somewhere. It was like, okay, well, before you get in the car, have you gone to the bathroom? Have you gone to the bathroom? Don't get in the car if you haven't gone to the bathroom. Don't have you gone to the bathroom? Don't get. Every trip begins with a trip to the bathroom. Every destination. So she, I guess apparently what it was there was a family joke about regardless of the kids and or grandkids, whenever they would leave, before they would hit their destination, the matriarch always had to have everyone stop because she needed to go to the bathroom. So she gave me a handwritten note. Well, no, actually, it wasn't even handwritten. It was typed out, and I don't want to show her name. Bend that over. She gave me just a hand or a typewritten note that says, "Every great adventure starts with a trip to the bathroom." She wanted to have that on 11 by 14 piece of artwork that could hang in her bathroom, complement the stuff that she has going on in her bathroom. And she started describing the way her bathroom was finished. And she showed me a couple of pictures, and her shower curtain was comprised of passport destination stamps. If you've ever had a passport, or if you do have a passport, and when you go into a new country destination, when you go into customs, they stamp your passport. Mexico, the Virgin Islands, or not Virgin Islands, so that's U.S. territory. The Dominican Republic, wherever you get a new destination stamp when you go use your passport. And these destination stamps were on her shower curtain, were configured in the shapes of the continents, and she liked that. And then but beyond that, there was this distressed blue, and she had seen the photograph of last week's artwork where I had distressed one of those mats, and it almost looked like a denim look. And she's like, "Ooh, I haven't seen anything that even come close to what." So she's like, "Can you do this? And I want to have this and this and this and this." And this is where you can find yourself getting into trouble. People, you sometimes have to tell folks less is more. Less is more. She wanted to have, an airplane, suitcases, the trip to the bathroom, the passport stamps, all these different things, and have that distressed blue look. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's a lot of stuff, and needs to be put into 11 by 14, and then and have the saying on it. And so I said, let me go play with it and see what I can come up with. And so I mocked up a few designs and sent it to her, and she critiqued a few. And I said, okay. So I finally decided on a third version that I never sent her. But instead of just sending her a PNG of the actual artwork, I said, let me make one. But I'm not going to make an 11 by 14 piece of something that someone may or may not want. So I mocked it up on a small piece that I could configure and make out of a 300 by 300 piece of material. And while she wants a wall hanger, I designed it on a stand so that it could be something you could put on the back of the backsplash, or on the windowsill, or on the back of the toilet, or wherever, if you wanted to have something like this in the bathroom, because it's kind of cute. And I made the entire thing and did the distressed look and the painting, and did a new technique with this that I've never done before. And I think it turned out pretty well. And I'm going to show you that tonight. and explain to you how that works. The file is already on hobowithwood.com. I forget what I named it, but of course it's the last thing I uploaded to hobowithwood.com. And I'll show you that file, show you how it works and how I'm created the finish that I've got. And we're going to, and that involves, that artwork involves, let's see here. Who was it that posted it? Let's switch. This is a post on the Lightburn tutorials group from Rob Prue. He says, I need some help with this. I'm trying to combine different pictures into one Boolean one Boolean isn't letting me. How, and any help would be appreciated. So this image looks like it's comprised of maybe a rainbow and then a few mushrooms, a couple of either clouds or speech clouds, a few marijuana leaves, and then there's the UFO. So Rob, if Rob's made it tonight, I invited him to come check out the stream, whether he makes it live or he's watching the replay, I don't know. But Rob likes to partake, obviously. And if anyone isn't aware, they might think that I have been partaking. And this is the fun part. I hate driving when I feel like this, because I'm afraid that if I was to ever get stopped for anything, the first thing that's going to go into their mind is like, oh, this person's drunk. And that's not it at all. Medical. It's, the strokes. So we're going to go over how Rob would need to do what he's wanting to do to bring multiple pieces of artwork and mesh them, meld them so it looks like it's one piece of artwork instead of the 4 or 5 pieces. We're going to go over that. The new painting technique. And we're going to design a piece from scratch tonight. It's really quick and simple. A door hanger that sits on the corner of your doorway inside the house. This was a commission piece that I was asked to make this week. I made one earlier. And it was their German Shepherd. And now they've got a silver lab. And they said, hey, we'd like to get a door decoration for our silver lab. And so I said, okay, this was done on the pre-finished MDF. And actually I like how it turned out. It's finished on both sides, and I'm really starting to like, I'm coming around. I used to absolutely condemn using MDF. And that was because MDF you get from your craft or from the big box stores, it's garbage. But you get some MDF. This is from Craft Closet, and Russ sent me this, and I'm glad that he did. It really opened my eyes. I've shared the link before, and if you're interested in this MDF, I can share the link again later in the stream. I'm not going to do it now. But I'm going to show how to make a design like this. It sits on the corner of your door jamb. So there's a 90-degree angle right here. So that's got a big wide base on it. So it'll sit on the molding, and that hangs down the side. So you can butt that up there. And then, what kind of pooch you got? You got a Shepherd, you got a Lab, you got a Yorkie. Well, what we're going to do tonight, and I've already sent this to her. Let's see here. Switch again. This was in the Hobo with Wood group, the Hobo with Wood Facebook group. I posted when I finished this, and Kay Campbell, who is a gold patron, she said, oh, I love it. Would love to have this with two Yorkies. And I said, okay, that's kind of cool concept. And I said, you know what? 2 Yorkies. Instead of having one door hanger with 2 small little dog heads on it, 2 Yorkies, I decided to do 2 door hangers with each one with a different Yorkie, a different look. One designed to go on the right side and one to go on the left side. And I've already sent that to Kay. I don't know if Kay's made it to the stream tonight or not, but she did receive the email with those emails or those files earlier today. And just to show you guys what I sent her, switch again. So there's 2 different Yorkies. This one will go on the left side. This one goes on the right side. And what I did different between the 2, and you can put the dog's name and the little dog bone here. This one is done 3-dimensional. So if you're doing it out of 3mm material, this would set up on there, and these slots will go on those tabs. And then there's 3mm from here to here. So that's what these are for. That's a 3mm void or to fill the space. So once you glue this onto this, just set on the bottom, these would glue up and glue right there. So now it's flush, and then these glue up on top of that and hang down over the side, so it looks like the little dog paws are hanging over the edge or the front of it. So it just adds a little extra dimension to it. So so I did 2 versions of that and sent that to Kay. Hopefully Kay likes those, and if not, after watching tonight's video, she'll see how I designed these and how easy they are to put together. And it will, if she decides she wants to do 2 Yorkies on one corner, it will involve what who was it that was asking? It was Rob. What Rob was asking about combining multiple pieces of artwork and overlapping them, but them be distinct. So we're gonna do that. In fact, let's see. Let's get Lightburn. And I don't know. Let me get in here and see. I've seen a lot of you guys here earlier, and I was saying hey to everybody, and I'm going to move on down. Hello, Ed. Ed's in the house. Ed's a local redneck. And guys and gals, redneck to me is a term of endearment. Some folks embrace being hillbillies. Personally, I embrace being a redneck. And locals, I said, nice, good locals. I say, hey, they're all rednecks. And Ed's a local, so I'm saying, hey, Ed. Let's see here. Wayne's. It's been a rough week, Wayne. That's partly why I'm struggling tonight. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough week. How are we doing on the Cubico? All right. Well, the Cubico, I've got the Cubico here, but I've mentioned to you guys that when I did the early bird, whatever they were doing, the fundraiser, I forget, y'all know what it is, but I opted for the best of everything. I went with the upgraded spindle. I opted to get the optional laser that goes with it. Plus, after watching Steve Venturi and seeing how messy that thing is, even though it's really, really compact, I decided I wanted to get the dust shoe and the optional multi-pack bits and all. I got everything you can go with it. I ordered it all. Well, it's not all showed up yet. I'm still receiving stuff almost weekly. So that's why I haven't bothered to open mine yet, or because I plan to open mine and get it all set up and do a video of the unboxing and the setup and first cuts, and then have everything that's already boxed to ship out to one lucky viewer who's going to win the Cubico. Because I got two of them, two of everything, and I'm going to give one lucky viewer, everybody watching in the stream is going to have a chance to win it. But I haven't got it all yet. They're still shipping pieces out. So Wayne, that's why you haven't seen any more about that. I'm still waiting on everything to get here. And anybody who's new to, I'm hitting the wrong button. Anybody who's new to the channel, a couple of things to go over first. If you are making comments or questions about anything going on, pay attention to this right here. If you have any comments that you want me to see and you're like, hey, Hobo, you're doing that wrong, or there's a better way to do that, precede your comment with 3 exclamation points. If you have a question about something that I'm doing, then precede your question with 3 question marks. And that way in the chat that's scrolling along the side of the screen, those preemptive exclamations and or question marks will jump out at me, and I will see those and address those. If you just post a question without them, I may and or may not see it. Kickstarter. Yeah. Thanks, James and Chris. Yep. And Ed saying, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All right. So I'm going to, that's, yeah. What's up, dumbass? Craig has been a longtime supporter of the channel, and he and I work together one-on quite a bit. And when he logs into the studio, he logs in as dumbass. So that's us. I embrace redneck. He embraces something else. All right. So let's mark this spot in the stream. All right, there we go. Now, this is the piece. I'm going to design the corner hanger and show you how easy, because that is so quick. But this piece is a unique piece for me with the finish that's on it, and I really like it. I don't know how the woman is going to do. Hey, Terry. I don't know how the woman who commissioned me to make this is going to like it, but I really liked it. I liked it a lot. So she gave me just a statement typed out and said that she wanted to have, if you see there in the corner, she wanted to have suitcases involved in it, and she wanted to have an airplane involved in it, and a few other different things. But I took her saying, incorporated it into some artwork. But beyond the artwork, the finish, the distressed painting with the artwork exposed, I was like, I like that. I like that a lot. And this is what I come up with. So every great adventure starts with a trip to the bathroom. And this is a stack of luggage. There is a backpack. So there's a stack of luggage and a backpack and a camera in front of it. And being as small as it is, it's kind of hard for you to make out here on the camera, but I can see it. And that's something else I'm going to show you in the stream about how to make really fine detailed pieces easier to to see on when you start scaling them down. But beyond, ignore the actual artwork. Just pay it. Look at the actual finish. And the way that that's distressed, but yet all of the artwork is clean and visible. I really loved how that turned out. So I'm going to be going over this whole design process, concept design, how that works, in addition to the corner hanger. So I see a few questions already since I marked my spot. Let me go to my mark spot. There it is. There's my mark spot. I mark with the asterisk to know where I am in the chat. And as soon as I did that, Andy posted a question. You said it's been a rough week. Is there anything we can do for you? Well, how good are you at doing yard work? The month of July was an absolute desert here in my location. We had practically no rain in the month of July. And when I walked across the yard, it was like walking across a desert. The grass did not bend, it crunched and broke because it was that dry. And in the first 2 weeks of August, it's been nothing but rain. We've had rain every day or every night. And now the yard, today, the yard was like this. And it's one of those deals where it rains and then the sun comes out, but it's only out long enough to dry it up just before it rains again. So it's been really tough to get the yard maintained. And I finally got it cut today. I didn't get it all done, but I got it cut down and cut down enough to keep the city off my back. But no, just if you in fact, Andy's question is there anything we can do for you? Yeah, there is a thing you can do for me. If you are not a patron on patreon.com/@hobowithwood, it would be a huge blessing for you, for me, if you were to go over to patreon.com/@hobowithwood and become a supporter for the channel. That would be a huge blessing right now. And then Chris says, when they want too much in a job, they do it as a two-piece job that complements each other. Oh, now that's a good idea. I try to do it as a two-piece job. That's a good idea, Chris. Yeah, I can see how that would work. So, I was saying earlier that this woman had a bunch of information she wanted to integrate into this artwork. But Chris says, hey, take that and do it into a two-piece complementary piece. And yeah, I can see how that would work. But sometimes it is a matter of people have expectations about what they would like, but they haven't seen it. And they don't realize just how busy it would all looks when you all put it together. And it's simpler to keep it clean and as basic as possible. So doing two different pieces with all those implements or all those design requests, that's a really good idea, Chris. Good idea. And God bless you, Miss Melissa. I'm thankful that you're here. I am thankful that you found Hobo with Wood, and I'm here anytime you need any assistance. Miss Melissa found Hobo with Wood, the Hobo Nation, I think by accident. I screwed up and did what was supposed to be a patron only live stream, and she was there because I hit the wrong button, and she became a supporter, and I am grateful for every single patron supporter that I have. So God bless you. All right, so moving on. Or now, here we go. Can we help by spreading the word? We can help by spreading the word. Yes, you can, Carl. You can definitely help by spreading the word. And you know what? And this is a good time to bring this up too before we jump into the designs. I promote myself as being willing, able, and ready to help anybody that needs it when they need a help with a design in Lightburn. I am Hobo with Wood right here, right now. I'm Hobo. And if you follow some of the posts in Facebook, you'll see that I'm also Steve Fortner. I'm Steve Fortner, aka Hobo with Wood. But I don't acknowledge or look at my personal page that much or that often, simply because of my persona on YouTube and the way that they're all linked together, and I have a constant barrage of people sending me requests about wanting to be friends. I don't know who these people are. You may be a genuine person looking for assistance. If you are, do not do it through my personal Facebook page, because I ignore those. I have so many requests to be friends or requests for an exchange, and I look at it and it's a profile that has had little or no activity for 2 years, and now all of a sudden I don't even bother looking at that. And you know what? Some of those could probably be pretty accurate, because most of us in this little clique, we're a bunch of old farts who are just now, or maybe embracing technology for the first time in a few years. And we haven't used the social media because we don't care about that. That's not what we're here for. So I don't pay attention. So do not send me a message on my personal Facebook page requesting help or requesting to be a friend. Now, if I have assisted you and we have connected, and then I know who you are, and you send me then I'm going to accept you and I'll include you in my minuscule number of friends. But if you have sent a request and you've not received an answer, I do not pay them any attention. If you need help, send that help to hobowithwood@gmail.com. And let's put that up here. Banners, hobowithwood@gmail.com. There we go. If you need help, there's where you need to send the help, not to the Facebook, my personal Facebook. I don't pay those any attention. All right. So comments. Well, God bless you, Brad. Thank you. Yeah, and old farts, and that's a term of endearment, just like redneck. And Carl says he's 81 years young here, and that blows my mind. It really and truly does. And I am thankful. I am so thankful that you are here, you're engaged, and you're learning, and you're doing, and you are active, and you're not. I'm just glad you're here. I am. So thank you. And Terry says he resembles that remark. Well, a lot of us do. And Terry said, and see, I know my demographic. We're all old farts. And what's surprising is I'm one of the youngest ones. Have you switched? No, I'm not. I haven't switched. I just did not have time. I've got the backup here, but it's not cold. I didn't have time to grab a cold one. I would have older friends, and for the record, I dislike social media, period. YouTube is my go-to. There you go. Yeah, see this, and everybody, 71, 56, 65s, the problem with being old is we have to break old school habits. Well, you know what, though? It's not that you don't have to, because sometimes those old school habits can bring to light opportunities to improve things or do things differently than the other people that have programmed or changed or done. There's always another way. That's what I love it. And yeah, no, not 777, but 77. Yeah. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Didn't start this till you were 70. I hear you, Wayne. You know, and it's a little learning curve, but with the right tutelage, you can grasp this pretty quick and get through it. All right. So let's look first at the I want because I think this would be kind of brief. Um, too many tabs, too many pages. Yeah, this one and switch. So Rob Prue in the Lightburn, and I hope I'm saying that right. He posted in the Lightburn tutorials, how do I combine all of these pieces of artwork and make it look like one? Well, that's actually exactly what I did with this piece of artwork, because she gave me a shopping list of things that she wanted to incorporate into the design. She wanted suitcases. She wanted an airplane. She wanted to, her saying her text. And so that's when I started putting all these pieces together. Well, you're not going to go online. You can go online to AI and say, create this, and I want to have this and this and this. And you might have something that comes out, but I have an outhouse. I have some artwork that has the trees and the stars. Oh, and I have an artwork with suitcases. And I have another one with the camera. Oh, and I've got a collection of planes. Oh, you know what? I can take this and this and this. Well, how do I take all of those elements and turn all of those individual pieces into a nice, uniform piece like that? And so let's look at that relatively quickly. And there's another tip in here that I'm going to show you. Sometimes if you have a ready-made piece of artwork, it might look really good when you have it at a 5x7 inch, scale. But when you scale it down and get it really, really tight, then you lose some of the definition of those. It almost, instead of a nice big piece of, and even on this one, because she wants it at 11x14. So this one, if I hold this up here really, really close to the camera and then focus it, there you can make out that is a separate backpack. And down here in that corner, that's actually a camera, but you can't make out the camera. You can on the 11x14, but I'm going to show you when you have situations like that and you need to scale it down and you lose all of that detail, how do you get that detail to come back? It's a simple trick for doing that too. So, Rob, if you've made it here from the Lightburn tutorials, welcome to the Hobo Nation. And let's jump in here. And while your design is of rainbows and mushrooms and marijuana leaves and clouds and UFOs, it tells me you're smoking the really, really good stuff, or you're chewing the really, really, really good stuff. I want to show you how to make all of those pieces into one. All right. So let's jump over here and open up Lightburn. Let's see. How many options do I have open? Right now, there's my Yorkies. Let's open up another one. File, new window. There we go. All right. Now in my art library, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, you know what? Let's go and let's find our, uh, let's see, where do I have it at? Uh, Bathroom. There we go. There's my outhouse. So I've got an outhouse. All right. Well, I want to put the outhouse in the middle of the woods. And so I know I've got some different scenes here. Am I traveling? Uh, yeah, that one. So I'm going to take that, but I don't want, in fact, there's the camera. There's the backpack and the camera. And you see that's got a lot of detail there, and that'll show up really good when it's engraved on a larger scale. But when you shrink it down, like I just showed you firsthand, or in IRL, in real life, those lines disappear because of how small I shrunk it down. But I took this piece and I ungrouped it. Once I ungrouped it, I said, all right, I want to have the trees. I didn't ungroup it. Let's ungroup it. I thought I did. Ungroup it. Grab the trees. It's going to get that one star up there. I can hold my control button and click on that star to deselect it. I can bring my trees over. So there's my trees. There's my outhouse. And you know what? We'll bring a star over here. We'll bring a star in. And say, okay, done. And I have, in fact, I use my ribbons. I've got a whole collection of ribbons that are similar to what's up here, but instead of editing, because I want this entire image to have a little bit of a distressed look. I don't want it to be limited just to the painted finish, but I even want it to show up in the artwork. And so while this is nice and crisp and clean, this ribbon has got this distressed going on over here. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep that too. So this is easy enough to modify and make look like this one with just doing a little bit of node editing, but I've already got it. So let's just grab that ribbon. I don't need all of this. So dragging from the right to the left, holding the control button, I can deselect that, and deselect that, and deselect that. And then I think I've got just the ribbon. So I can bring that over here. Oh, well, I got some more in there I don't want. So we'll just delete that. Select it and delete it. I don't want that ribbon. And I think I'm done with everything over here. So, and I don't need this word. Oops. Let's go to wireframe mode. And to do wireframe mode, I'm going to do Control-Shift-W. And that will allow me to then come in here and grab the letters and all the pieces of the letters and just delete those. And now I've got just the remaining ribbon. And let's group that back together. So I've got a ribbon. I've got a few trees, a star, an outhouse, and I want to put the outhouse kind of in the middle. Oh, that wasn't grouped. So let's Control Z to undo, or up here, undo. And let's select all of that outhouse and group it. There we go. And now if I say, okay, well, I want to have that up there, and that maybe needs to be a little smaller, I'll bring it down a little bit. So now I'm starting to look kind of like, who was it? I wish I was better at names. Rob was, there's his image with a whole bunch of different artworks overlapping. And there's mine now. I've got the outhouse on top of the trees. And that's going to be really, really big. So I'm going to maybe bring that down and put the star, shrink it down, and I'll maybe do a couple different variations of that. Control D to duplicate it, and bring that over here and make it a little different size. Duplicate it again and bring it over here. Shrink it a little bit, and just for giggles, I'm not going to hold control. I'll just make it a little bit asymmetrical to make it just a little more different. Now, how do I get my outhouse to stand out in my tree line? Well, whenever you're doing, when you want to remove one part of a design from another, you have two designs. Here I have a design of trees, the tree line, and then I have the design for the outhouse. And I need to remove the trees from behind the outhouse. I want those to go away. I don't want to see those because the outhouse is in front of that tree, so it needs to go away. So I need to cut that out. So when I'm going to cut that out, I'm going to use my cookie cutter to cut that out. Just like it's been so long since I've made homemade cookies. I guess they still have cookie cutters. But this cookie cutter is a one-time use. It is non-recyclable. You cannot use it again. And the instant you use it, it's gone. Okay? So that's where a lot of people get lost, Terry. I helped Terry with this exact problem today. You get to use your cookie cutter one time and then it's gone. So I need to make a cookie cutter that's going to cut out the trees and make them disappear behind my outhouse and make the outhouse completely clear and prominent and easy to recognize. So how do we do that? You don't want to do a cookie cutter of the exact tree or the exact outhouse size. You want to have a little bit of an offset. You want to have a gap between your trees, in this case, the trees, and I went this, and it is the stroke. Was it Rob Prue? I think Rob. In Rob's case, with the mushrooms and the stuff he's been talking on. You need to have a space between what you want to be seen and subtracted. So you need to create an offset of the piece that you want to keep. So if we go over here, and I want to keep this tree that I see over here on the side and this tree, but that tree that's in the center and the back, and even that top piece, I really don't even need that. So I need to make all of this disappear, but keep this. So I'm going to take my outhouse and I'm going to come over here to my offset tool and I'm going to do an offset. And right now I'm in millimeters, and this is your end use size. This is why I say it's almost better to design when you're doing your design, to design it at its smallest possible use, because that's going to look good when you make it that small, because that's what you designed it for. But when you blow it up, when you enlarge it, it's still going to look good. But when you design it so that it looks really, really good, big, and you shrink it down, you're going to lose some detail. And I'm going to show you how to compensate for that in a second here. So here I'm working in the metric system, I'm working in millimeters. But this may or may not be enough of a space. I've only got a 0.5 millimeter gap. Let's go ahead and make this a full millimeter. I'm going to do outer shapes only, and I'm not going to delete my original objects, but I will select the resulting objects because I don't know what all it's going to create here. I'm telling it outer shapes only and say, okay. And whether you want to do round or corner or beveled is going to depend on what offset you're creating. Sometimes you want round offsets. Sometimes you want corner offsets. I very, very rarely have ever needed or wanted to use bevel offsets. I have, but it's typically round or corner. So in this instance, I'm doing corner. So I'm doing an outward offset, and I'm going to say okay. Now, I selected that resulting object. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see, do I have only that one piece in there and there's no additional inner offsets going on? Even though I told it to do outer shapes only, sometimes you get some funkiness going on, and where you'll get your outer offset, but then there'll be another offset or two or three or whatever in the middle. And the way you'll know is whenever you say show, you've chosen to, you said you've selected show me the resulting objects. If there is more than one outline, you will show, instead of showing here, I show the dash, 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 dash around the perimeter. If there were multiple lines or a group, you would see it that it's a grouped selection, and it would, the outer perimeter would be a dash dot or a dash dash dot dash dash dot, what have you. Back over to Lightburn, and I see some comments, and I'll get to those in a second there. Lightburn, come on, there we go. So since I've only got the dash, 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 and I don't have the option to ungroup them, I know I have that one piece only. So now I can go over here to my tree line, and that is grouped. I made sure that what I needed to get rid of, that was all grouped together. No, it's not either. There's some other stuff down there. So you know what I'm going to do? I think I did group I grouped the original, and there's the difference. You see the dot, dot, dash, dot, dot, dash. That's a group, and you have the option to ungroup them up here. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to temporarily put those on a different layer, and then I'm going to turn that layer off so I don't even see it. And you know what? I'll do my offset on that same layer and turn that off. That gives me a chance to select, because if I select just this outer piece of the tree line, see, these pieces down here are not being selected. So I need to get that all grouped. So I'm going to select every bit of that, and I've selected those stars too, and I don't want the stars. So control and drag from the right to the left, drag right to left, and that deselects them, holding the control button. Now I've got all that selected, and I'll group it. Grouped. Now that's one object. You can see right here, one object. Turn those back on. And let's put it back on the tool path, or the black layer. Come on there. Let's get the outer piece right there. And it's on the same layer. Now I need to get all of those trees behind the outhouse to go away. Well, that's A. If I select it, that's the group of trees. That's A. Hold shift and select that offset I did of the outhouse. That's B. And if I come over here to my Boolean tools, if I go to my Boolean assistant, you can see up here you've got the option for union A and B, intersection A and B, subtract A from B, or subtract B from A. Well, the way I did it, it should be subtract A from B. And I'll cancel that and zoom out so you can see it. And do the Boolean A subtract B. You see how those trees all disappeared behind the no, I don't need to duplicate the outhouse because I did an offset of the outhouse, Terry. You only need to duplicate the outhouse if you're going to use the exact same size. I do not want to use the exact same size. I wanted additional space between my outhouse and my trees. So that's why I didn't duplicate it. I did an offset. And then I subtracted the offset from the tree line. And that gives a little definition between the outhouse and the tree lines to say, okay. And had I not done that, then the trees would have extended right up to there, and which would be more realistic. But realistic on the Lightburn or on the laser, it doesn't show up as well as it does. You get more definition by leaving a little gap between the pieces, the different pieces of art. All right. So, all right, going back up here. Going back up here. Back. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And Terry brings up a good point. There's 86 of us here now. If you haven't already hit that like button, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It will help me. If you're not a patron, that's the least you can do. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. You're going to learn some stuff here tonight that's going to help you, whether it's not, be it with this design or any, you're going to learn technique here that you're probably not going to see on any other YouTube live stream. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Yeah. Terry says deja vu because I've been helping Terry all week with some work that's involved these exact same things. What's your favorite cookie? My favorite cookie is the homemade oatmeal cookies that I make. All right. Let's see here. Looking for questions. And see, I love see. And for those who are new to the channel and you don't know what these numbers are, like Jesse put up 1, Andy put up a 2, Carl's put up a 2, Smart Alec. I love Smart Alec. I say that. I love it. I love it. Love the name. Those are indicating that, hey, Smart Alec's learned a new thing. Andy's saying, I've learned 2 new things. So anytime you're watching the stream and a number pops up, it just indicates that they've learned something new. Greg says, make it show up better when you, yes, it definitely does show up better when you leave a gap with the offset. Well, thank you, V, and God bless you. Brad's 100% agree. You don't keep secrets from us like others do. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So back over here to YouTube. Not to YouTube. Back over here to Lightburn. So let's select the outhouse and put it back on the black layer. So now I've got the outhouse there. And now I have the option to choose, you know, like I said, I don't know that I really need that treetop up here over it, but it's grouped with the rest of these and these parts of the trees over here. I really don't need those because it's not obvious that that's what those are. So I can ungroup those, but they're all still selected. And you do want to keep everything selected. With everything still selected, hold your control button. And then select the pieces that you don't want. I don't want any of these. So I'm going from left to right and selecting all those. And see how it deselects them? But everything else is still selected. So if I want to keep that little bow there, I'm okay. I'll keep that because it's tied into that. And now group it back together. Now all of those are grouped together. So now you can just come up here and select that, delete it, and then just draw from there to there and delete that. And that cleans that up, but it keeps everything else that you didn't want to go away. They're grouped, so you can't act, because if I try to select, if I encompass those right there, it's not going to select them. No matter what I do, it's not picking those up unless I draw from the right to the left. Then it'll pick up everything. So by keeping those part of the group, I can't accidentally get rid of them, when I'm selecting the other pieces. So you do an offset, Rob, if you're really wanting your marijuana leaf to pop. Is that messing with you, Rob? Uh, if you want that marijuana leaf to pop around your rainbow, then do a slight offset of your marijuana leaf and then cut that offset out of your marijuana leaf, leaving your original marijuana leaf there to be engraved. And now you've incorporated your rainbow and your marijuana leaf to look like it's all part of one artwork. And now I want to show you another simple trick. You guys have all bent text and curved text. So on mine, I've got up here in this, I started out with every grate in the ribbon. And you're like, okay, well, that's not difficult. I can do that. So I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna type in every grate. And then I'll size it. Oh, flipped it down. There we go. Put that kind of where I want it to be, size it on down a little bit more. And then I'm going to hold shift and select the ribbon and tell it to go to center. Now, I just centered that text. You just watch me center it. I selected the text and then the ribbon to go to center. Now I'm going to curve the text. And to curve the text, you select the text and you got that little purple dot right here. And you see that little sideways parentheses on top of it when you click or hover over it. Left click and just drag that down. And you'll get this purple toolpath that shows up above your text. And what you're going to want to look for is I've started to curve it. And you can see how close, when I release it, it goes away. But you can see how close the purple toolpath is over here versus here, and how far away it is from the top to the bottom. You're looking for uniformity. So when you've got about the same equal distance on the toolpath from here all the way around over here. So when I come over here and click, now you can see how close it is on the left and the right and how far away it is on the top center. Well, you kind of keep bending it until you get a good uniform distance left to right. So you see how the purple toolpath is about the same distance away from the top perimeter center and the top perimeter left and right. That's the curve that is going to be ideal. But when you do that, something happens to your text. Now, if I let go of it, hold shift and select the center of that again and tell it to go to center, you see it move? Because of the shape of your text, depending on how many letters in your text have got curves on them versus how many of them are flat top, flat bottoms, curves on the side. Whenever you bend or curve that text, it's no longer going to be centered. So you can start out centered, look for that uniform toolpath around your wrap when you bend your text, but then recenter it again. Otherwise, it's not going to be centered. All right, let's see here. Go back up here. Let's see, we got Brad's comment. And I'm a goofball. Do that back and forward with the clock. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, I'm gonna mark. Listen, I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that either. I want to come down here and mark this spot in the comments. All right, done. Okay. Now, sorry. Look at that purple toolpath when you curve and wrap your text and look for a uniformity around that toolpath for equal distance. But then once you've got that curve, make sure it's centered still in your design because it will change. Now, I've shown you how to curve that. But now, how did I take my regular text, adventure, and fill that circle underneath it like that? Simple, simple, simple. Really simple. And little things like this make all the difference in the world to the quality of your artwork. And if I come down here and I look at this and I say, okay, well, I've got this ribbon, and if I put this in the fill mode, Alt Shift W, you see that. So, okay, and that's looking all right. Now I need to put in here an oval. So I select my ellipse tool, and then I come over here and I'm going to just draw out a random ellipse. I don't know what size I need it to be. I'm just drawing it out by eyeballing it right now. I'm kind of like, okay, that looks pretty good, pretty close. I'm going to bring that up here, and I want to put it in here. And I'm looking to fill this area of that ribbon. Go here, make that a little bit there, and hold Control, and then I can bring in both sides, bring it up a little bit more. All right, hold Shift and select the ribbon and tell it to go to center. All right, and so there's center. Now I'm going to select this, and I'm going to do an inward offset. Inward. There we go, about a mil. I could probably do a little bit more because I'm looking the distance between the edge, that banner offset, and this. I want to keep it about the same. So let's look at 1.25, 1.5. Oh, not 15, 1.5. 1.3. There we go. And say okay. Now I want to put the word adventure in here, but I want to fill this entire area of that inner circle. So I'm going to go back to my wireframe mode by hitting Alt Shift W, and that allows me to see just that inner piece and select it easily and pick back and forth. When you're in fill mode, it's hard to get those separate pieces. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in the very center, adventure. I'll do all caps, adventure. And let's scroll it down and see if I spelled it right. Oh, flipped it. Let's go back up. There we go. Flipped it again. Let's get it. There we go. Hold Shift, put it in the center of that adventure. I did good. All right. Now, see how that fills up that whole oval left to right. But there's a lot of vacancy there. It's filled as tight as I can get it, but I got a lot of gap there. And I don't want that. Thank you, Tom. So how do I fill that entire circle using that script, that text, that font? I'm going to select that font. And then I'm going to come up here to my tools, and I'm going to come down to my deform selection. You have 16 points that you can deform with this selection. Warp selection only gives you 4 points. And there is a time and place to use warp selection, and there's a time and place to use deform. We're going to use deform. And when I select it, I get those 16 points that pop up. 4, 4, 4, and 4. Now, the outermost pieces, I've got it as big as I can get the A and the E, and I've got it centered. I really don't need to move the end pieces of the word adventure. I need to fill everything else between the A and the E and that oval. And this is how you do it. And you can minimize your work by holding Shift to, when you hold Shift, it will move its mirrored node. I'm going to call them nodes. I don't know if they're not really nodes, but we have 16 points here. So when you hold Shift and you click the left inner top node and move it, it's going to move the right inner top node and move it. And you'll see what I'm talking about. So if I grab just this one alone and move this node, I can do all kinds of funky stuff with that part of the word. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to Control Z, undo it. But if I hold Shift and I use Shift and move this up, it moves the other one over there, its mirror node with it. And I want to bring it up, and I'm going to bring it up to about the same distance. I'm looking at the distance here from this A to the edge of the ellipse, that oval, and looking to see if I can keep it kind of similar. I'll hold Shift and do this one and bring that down. And it's probably a little more. I'm going to go to the outer piece. So I'll come back up here and go to this outer piece. And I'm trying to make sure I try and keep those in a straight line. And then if I want to make sure that my letters are evenly deformed, if this is where I want the top to be and this is where the bottom's at, I'm going to come in here and hold Shift, and I'm going to pull these down and try and create equal distance between all four of those. And then Alt Shift W to go back to fill mode, and that fills that up. So now instead of having adventure tight and skinny and filling up that middle, I've filled up that whole oval, and you get a result that looks like that. Now, I didn't bother with changing all my text in the bold and all that. I'm just showing you techniques right now. I'm not showing you how to make this exact design. I'm showing you how to create your own designs and get the result that you want. Like our devil's lettuce wacky weed enjoying Rob wants to do. All right, let's see here. Let's go back up here to the comments. And again, Tom, God bless you and thank you, sir. I never knew about that. Super cool, Steve. We'll definitely be using that. All right, let's see here. I haven't tried this. Can you use distribution on the deform nodes? I don't. Let's try it. Oh, come on. Where? Nope, wrong button, stupid. There we go. Too many buttons. All right. Hey, there's Steve. Hey, in fact, Steve, I'm glad you're here, buddy. I had a request this week from someone who wanted to do a design similar to your fireplace piece. And at one time, I was working on doing a 1970s hologram, the big console TV, with the stereo. I was going to do with the smartphone, so it looked like the 1976 entertainment center you had in the house. But the aspect ratio on the video didn't fit the concept, so I scrapped it. But someone sent me a request this week about, hey, can you do this? And I said, I can, but guess what? Ventari's already done it, and sent them a link to your site and said, check that out. So I sent you a little bit. Glad you dropped in and said hello. All right. So Chris was asking about, can you use the distribute tools with those nodes in the deform tool? And let's go find out. So if we switch back over here and we go to the wireframe mode with Alt Shift W, come on, select that screen, Alt Shift W, there we go. I come back over here. Let's go to the tools and deform selection. All right, since I've already deformed it, all of my nodes are equal distance apart again. So let's do Control Z. Come on. Got to get out of it. Control Z, go back. There we go. Now we're back to the original text. Then we go to Tools, Deform Selection. If I hold Shift to bring the right and left center, again, those aren't really nodes, but we're going to call them nodes for this purpose. Bring those top and bottom. And then his question was, can we use the distribute tools or the distribute shortcut to distribute these 4 nodes between these 4 nodes? And no, because what I'm trying to do now is I'm actually clicking and trying to select those nodes, and I can't select them. And since I can't select them, it will not allow me to select those 4 and then select those and then distribute them. So your option is only to move them around. And you know what? And this is it is a personal preference. Some folks might prefer not to have those centerpieces stretched out, but holding Shift and bring those down. And if you look, anybody who doesn't see the difference, how narrow this part of the E is, well, when I move these nodes up to create a little closer gap there and then move these nodes down, it just makes that a little bit broader. It just, it's all personal preference. But no, distribute tools will not work because you cannot select those nodes in the deform tool. All right, let's see here. Bugger. Oh, and for those who don't know, our buddy Chris here, Chris Gallagher, and I've never got a clear if it's Gallagher. But I think we're going to go with Gallagher. Chris is from down under. Chris is down in Australia. And I seen a very interesting statistic posted earlier today. And I thought I would share it with you guys if Chris made it here. And it said something, and I'm drawing a blank on the exact numbers. But it was something along the lines that Australia has 345,000 kangaroos. And if those 345,000 kangaroos decided to invade Uruguay, the entire population of Uruguay would have to fight 14 kangaroos. Squirrel. All right, so that didn't work, Chris. It didn't work. Good thought, though, but it didn't work. And God bless you, and thank you, Shoeless One. Thank you, and welcome to the stream. All right, so we've looked at how you can create the illusion of all these random pieces and implement them into one piece of artwork. You create an offset of the piece that you're wanting to overlap. All right. So if you're wanting those, because, and it's important about which one you do, because if you did an offset of the trees and you cut the tree offset out of the outhouse, then the trees would be prominent. The trees would be out in front of the outhouse, and the outhouse would be back in the woods. Maybe that's what you want. But if you wanted the outhouse to be prominent, you're going to do a offset of the outhouse, and then use the Boolean tools to subtract the offset of the outhouse from the tree line. And that gives you your separation and your definition between the two pieces. And in Rob's case, it would be the definition between his pot leaves and his marijuana, and his pot leaves, his marijuana leaves and his rainbows. All right. So now those were the techniques on how to merge. Does anybody have any questions before I shift gears? Does anybody have any questions about how to merge two different pieces of artwork and create, one uniform piece from different pieces before I go on? Anybody else? Chris said he saw that. Yeah. A lot of kangaroos and not a lot of people in Uruguay. All right. So no immediate questions. Everybody got that. It's really not rocket science. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you. And I do consider myself blessed for all of you guys' support, and I'm thankful to each and every one of you. So since no one's posed anyone's questions about how to merge those separate pieces of artwork, it's really, really easy. I want to show you how, and this is going to be a quick tip, how I created the finish on this piece. And look at the shine on that. In fact, I can get the light just right, and you won't be able to see it. There we go. It's super shiny. Tell everybody about my hat. I don't know about my hat. I'm doing hats. So this was done in a couple of different processes. And if you look at this, there's no outer frame around it. I've used artwork to create corners and definition. And on the flip side, I've got a backer that backs it and for used to mount the frame support. And they look, I got little airplanes on the arms of the piece too. So how did I keep all of this area clean, get my engraving done, and keep all of that, relatively clean from the paint? In the design, in the artwork for this, let's go see. Do I have that open? No, I don't have that open. All right. So since I don't have it open, let's select. Come on. What am I doing wrong here? Select. There we go. Select all that. Delete all that. And let's open recent. This is bathroom trip. Bathroom trip. And not the kind that Rob's thinking about when he's thinking about a bathroom trip. All right. So what I have here is the outer piece, the outer perimeter of the main piece that's got the artwork on it. And then just beside of it, I have the exact same dimensions, but this is an offset of all of this inner artwork. So if I come over here and I select, and I think I got it grouped so you won't be able to get it. No, I don't. So if I selected all of that inner artwork, every bit of it, and then I did an offset outward, and I did it large enough to get rid of all of these little bitty pieces inside of here. And you don't have to get rid of all of them, but you get rid of enough of them. So if I wanted to have that much of an offset, I've still got some inner pieces in here that I really don't want. That's irrelevant. I can say, okay. And I'm going to tell it to select the resulting objects. And if I tell it outer shapes only, You see how the difference here? I've got outer shapes only. If I don't tell it, I get some funky results. I'm doing outer shapes only. Select the resulting objects, and let's do round, clean, give it nice. And the difference between round here is if I do corners, you see all those funky, I don't want that. I want nice round pieces. Now I'm going to select the resulting objects and say okay. So that selected the offset that I just created. But I don't want these inner pieces that are in here. All I want is this outer offset. So all I need to do is tell it to ungroup. And when you tell it to ungroup a group, all of the pieces of the group are still selected. But now it's showing you there are 19 objects that are selected. If I group it back, you've got one object. Ungroup it, they're all still selected, and you have 19 objects. I'm going to hold my control button and select that outermost piece. And now I have 18 objects selected. And that's all those random pieces inside here that I don't want. So I'm just going to hit the delete button and get rid of every one of those. And so now I've got that piece that I can put, the offset rather, I can put that on a cut path. And that's what I would drop in the middle of that if that's what I wanted to be, just the offset. In that case, I didn't get the clouds up there. I would have to have done a larger offset to get the clouds. Or I actually deleted them. I just now deleted them. I just now seen that. So let's undo. There they are. There's the clouds. So if I wanted to keep those, then I would just drag those, make them a little bit bigger, what have you. And that's, but you do an offset of that. And that offset is what you put inside here. And what I did was I cut out the outer perimeter of what's going to be my canvas. Did not do the engraving. Just cut the canvas out. Then I took this piece and used it. It's the exact same size. And I just, grabbed it and put my fingers on the four corners and lined everything up. And now you can see where the artwork's going to be. There's my offset piece. And now that you can see the blue on it, you can see what I did. I put that in place. I'm going to get on there. There we go. And then carefully, with that positioned right where it needed to be, lifted that outer piece off and then spray painted the entire piece. Everything that's exposed got painted blue. And that's why you've got that blue. And I moved it. That's why it's not lined up. But there you go. Kind of like that. So everything got painted blue. Then I used 80 grit sandpaper, really rough stuff. And then began to, and I used a sanding block to try and keep everything flat and not burnish the edges too much. But I did, and that's fine. It looked good. You can see a little bit of burnishing up there in the corner there, and it's a little not quite focused. And over here, that's okay. It all works with the distressing look. So I used 80 grit sandpaper to sand all the blue off to get the look that I'm wanting. And because the Rolly is such a precision piece of equipment, and since I mentioned it, Rolly, hobowithwood.com/Rolly. If you want one of the finest pieces of equipment for lasering, use my link. That'll help me out. And let Leo know that Leo is the owner of Rolly, that you're watching and paying attention to Hobo. But because the Rolly is so precise, I was able to take this distressed piece of material, place it right back into position of where I cut it out, and then sent the laser out to do the engraving. And that gave me the engraved pieces in between the area that never got painted. But once I finished the engraving, I did not take any kind of alcohol wipe or anything else to really clean the surface. I left the fine particles of blue paint on the surface of the material, and then I sprayed it with lacquer. And because I did that, this covered up that area perfectly, and there was no blue paint. But because I did not wipe that off there, you see, well, there on this side especially, see all that blue that's bled through there? That was in the grains. It was down inside there. And that really, to me, if you're looking for a distressed look, that looked really, really good. That was sharp. So that's how I did this piece. Created what I call an optional paint mask. And I didn't bother taping it down. I didn't bother doing anything besides just laying on top there, lifting another piece off, because I'm not looking for precision. I want it to look like it's aged and distressed. So if it was a little bit irregular, so be it. It's going to be all right. And then sand it down, engraved it, and then multiple coats of lacquer. And because I did not wipe away all of the dust, I did not get it super, super clean. The first layer or two of lacquer, it wasn't slick. It had bumps and bubbles in it because there was dust on the surface. Little 320 sanding, layer lacquer, 370 sanding, layer lacquer, and she's slick as glass and looks really good. And I did a new technique with designing the brackets for the back, and I think I really liked how that turned out. And I also, instead of doing a racetrack for the base, I went with a little bit of a dog bone. That way it still got the same footprint as a racetrack, but it has a little bit more unique footprint. And I like that. And I've got my information on the bottom there and on the bottom there. So you're making stuff that you're going to be selling, putting out there, put your name on it. Don't be bashful. Let everybody know that, hey, I did this. So now let's look for comments and see where we're at, and then we'll move on to the next subject. We're actually going to just, and this is going to be really quick. We're 90 minutes in, but within the next 30 minutes, I'll design an entire piece like this, because this is really, really easy. And let's see here. All right, so I acknowledged. All right, so Craig said, tell everybody about your hat. I have a hat. I'm wearing it. It's on my head. It says Hobo. What are you talking about? Talking about this hat, or are you talking about my other hats? What you talking about, Willis? Oh, I love that. Terry's already learned 7 things tonight. And this is why I do this, girls and boys. I do this for 2 reasons. I love sharing what I've learned, and I do it to get paid. And the blessings that you've shared with me tonight from everybody who's done the super thanks have been above and beyond. But I'm doing it to get the little bit of monies that I get from the YouTube channel, which is $300 or $400 a month, no big deal. And my patrons are really what make this channel sustain this channel. Without my patrons, I wouldn't be here. So if you like what you've seen tonight, patreon.com/hobowithwood. This is important. hobowithwood.com/Rolly. If you want this a quality piece of machinery, use my link to get a Rolly. No matter what anybody else calls it, those other people who refuse to say Rolly, it is a Rolly. It's a Rolly. Are you turning over? Are you spinning right now because I said Rolly that many times? It's a Rolly. Get over it. Banners. Patreon. Pay, where you at? It's in here somewhere. Maybe it ain't. Yeah, there it is. Patreon.com/Hobo with Wood. If you've learned a few things tonight and you're not a patron on Patreon, consider. Oh, I turned it off. I didn't mean to do that. Let's turn that back on. Go over to patreon.com/Hobo with Wood. Consider becoming a patron. There are there's 4 different levels: bronze, silver, and gold. Bronze is $3 a month. You'd never miss $3 a month. Silver is $6 a month. You're not going to miss $6 a month. Gold is $20 a month. That's less than a coffee a day. You're really not going to miss $20 a month. The 4th one would hurt most of us, if not all of us. The 4th one is the platinum tier. And if I get one platinum member, platinum is $5,000 a month. But for $5,000 a month, you get everything else everybody else gets. Plus, I'm going to come to your house once a month and fix your dinner, and we'll discuss Lightburn until we're falling asleep. Bronze gets 60% off all of my digital files on Hobo with Wood. Silver gets 80% off. And gold gets 100% off on all the digital files that are on Hobo with Wood. So this file I put online before going live tonight. It's already on the website. If you were a gold patron, you could download this. And this entire piece was cut out of less than one piece of 300 by 300 millimeter material. So even if you didn't like this artwork, you didn't care anything about this stupid bathroom saying, you get this entire design, the stand, the easel, all that, and you can put whatever artwork you want on there. You ain't got to design nothing besides put whatever art. Maybe you've already got some artwork you want. You just got to cut and paste it and put it on there, and now you've got. It's a deal. It really is a deal. And none of the files I put on hobowithwood.com are on there if I haven't built it and tested it. I typically do not post any digital representations of my files. They are all photographs of the actual product. And I do that for 2 reasons. One, so that you know I've actually built it. In fact, I received an email this week that said they were having a problem with that file, that the file didn't work. Well, it does work. The problem that they were experiencing was probably because of twofold. One, they were trying to make it entirely too small, and they were using a 30-watt laser instead of the 10-watt laser. And the 30-watt spot size gets really, really big compared to the 10-watt when you're trying to cut out fragile. And it is. That's a fragile design. So you need to use your smallest spot size possible. But I don't put a design on the website if I haven't actually tested it myself, at least not without a disclaimer. And then I do get it built, and then whatever corrections I need to make, I let people know. All right, so let's see here. Looking for where. Okay, questions, comments. I seen Craig. Craig's about the hat. I seen that. Questions isn't the same for images. Wayne, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm so far down the path now. I don't know what you're referring to. So if you still have a question, if I didn't answer it during my rambling, post a more detailed question about where you were, what I was talking about, because I don't know. Yeah, and double-sided tape is your friend, but here I'm not worried about it being perfect. I would have doubled over. Yes, yeah. And double-sided tape that's. But here, because and here's the thing, I wasn't looking. I didn't even want to have that perimeter heavily painted. It just needed to have a mist on it. If I needed to really have it really heavy and thick, and I'm going to be using the spray, then yeah, you'd maybe tape that down. if you're going to get in there and a lot of pressure and a lot of spray, and you don't want that to move. But because I was after the distressed look, all I needed it to do was lay there, and then I held the can back far enough away that I'm not putting any real pressure on it. There was no chance of my piece moving because I did not go for a uniform or heavy coating. The new Rolly, I don't think so. I haven't seen anything about it yet. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. And in fact, I've heard rumors. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it. I have had rumors that there is a new Rolly automation Facebook group. Has anybody seen that yet? Has anybody seen a new Facebook group from Rolly that is owned by Leo? Has anybody seen that? If there is, drop it in the comments there and let me know about it. Supposedly, there's a new Facebook group open for Rolly owners, and this new group is going to be controlled and moderated by the owner of the company and not some other fathead that is in control and being domineering. So if you've seen a new channel for Rolly Automation, let me know. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard rumors that it's out there. So I haven't seen any new information about the new one being released yet, because I've been kicked off of the Rolly Facebook page, and I don't have access to any of that stuff. And it's not because of the owner of the company, because I endorse it, love it. It's because of a third party that we have no control over. Selling hats, other hats, nice hat. Oh, the nice hats. Yeah, I'm going to be selling hats, and we are transitioning from that to the door hanger. So I think Sunday and maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, I dropped 2 new videos this week showing and featuring the and do I have it? Yeah, there it is. Switch. The Vever 4-in-1 hat press. And I've made a few hats. And I've been really, really pleased with the outcome. And I made this one for my great nephew, and I haven't got it to him yet. But it's the cool kid just showed up. And this one, this is a really nice embroidered hat with a big old excavator on the side, and then the concrete services, that local concreter. And then this one is for anybody who likes to hunt. You got the mallards embroidered in there, and then you got your retriever there with a mallard in his mouth. So those were hats I made this past week. Haven't got any more done because I've been so busy. This has been a week from Hades. And I'm getting more rested. And because if you were here in the beginning, I was really struggling with my speech patterns, and they're not 100%, but they're a whole lot better now than they were when we started. So thank you for making me feel comfortable. This is therapeutic for me. But yeah, I'll be doing more hats and more patches, and having more fun with the hat press. Still got a lot to learn. I've been watching Patrick's, and that's why I was kind of excited seeing Patrick more in the stream earlier, thinking that was Patrick, the other Patrick from Light Source Engravings. Hey, Patrick's here. So, all right, moving on. Where do you get 3mm wood? Depends on which wood you're talking about. This wood, this is the Baltic birch, and this is the Freiler Baltic birch, which is the hobowithwood.com/premium Baltic birch. It's on Amazon. I don't know if I've got that banner on here, but Hobo with Wood at no hobowithwood.com/premium Baltic birch. That'll be the Freiler Baltic birch. It's the best Baltic birch that I've dealt with in 3 years. Is it absolutely perfect every time on every piece? Is it uniform and consistent throughout the entire pack of 45? Nope, never is. Will it ever be? Nope, it won't be. But its consistency is better than most I've ever seen. And if you use either magnets or hold downs, you won't have an issue. And its thickness varies anywhere from 2.6 millimeters to 3.3 millimeters. The this material, this is 3 millimeter MDF that Russ sent me, one of my patrons. He sent me some of this, and I was anti MDF until using this. And this is from Craft Closet, and I can share you that link at the end of this video if that's what you're interested in. And this is very uniform. I've got about 15, 16 sheets of it. Every bit of it measures 3 millimeters. Every bit of it. And it's pre-finished both sides in multiple colors. So I can share that link with you later if that's the one you're asking about. But I want to keep going here. What you talking about? Your smallest spot size? What is that on? 1.5 watt diode? That's a small spot size. Carl says he's got the Bever slushy machine ready for margaritas. I've seen several Beaver Bever machines, CO2 and fiber. I've not messed with any of their lasers at all. Where do you get the hat? Where did you get the hat press? Where do you get the leather that presses on? I have not. I've gotten any information back from this company yet, and so I'm not ready. Until I get something worked out with them, I don't want to bother even promoting them, because there's a lot of things about it. It's really good quality, good stuff, but they're missing out on so much. They have no way to contact them for customer service other than through chat or email. There's no phone numbers. You can't talk to anybody. And if you send them, they've got a Facebook group. They want you to go talk to the Facebook group, kind of like the Hobo with Wood group. You got a question? Go ask them over there. First thing is there a phone number I can contact anybody here for customer support? And some wise act, he says 704, or no, he said 8675309. Ask for Jenny. I'm like, really? All right. You're directing people to come here for support, and you got jokers that want to put comments like that out there. And I don't tolerate that in my group. It's hard to monitor everything, but there's no solicitation in my group permitted, and it's supposed to be a friendly and fun place to exchange information. So I'm working on trying to get something worked out with them. But I don't want to bother yet because there's still some issues there. All right. We're 10 minutes away from being at 2 hours, but I want to do this design here because, as I said, I did this one, and then someone in the Facebook group was wasn't Rob. Rob was too busy smoking his joints. It was Kay. Kay mentioned in one of the Facebook group comments that she would love to see this, but she would love to see it with 2 Yorkies. So I made her 2 Yorkies and sent it to her. And I'm going to show you how to do this right now. It's really, really easy. It's not rocket science. And this is something you can do without a whole lot of effort. Even the most basic Lightburn user can do something this simple. Let's see here. I train squirrels and then send them your way. Squirrel. Squirrel. Yeah, that's me, buddy. That's me. All right. So let's go to Lightburn. Let's go to here, and then we'll go here. Oh, wrong camera. Here and here. All right. So those are the two files that I made and sent to her. So she has two different Yorkies, one for each side of the door jamb. And like I said, this one's done so it's three-dimensional. Can I get those pieces? No, I ain't getting those other pieces. There's another piece on there that's not showing. Move out of the way. Move out of the way. There they are. So those would go underneath those to make up for the gap, make the paws proud and out in front of the little Yorkie. All right. So how do I make these? Let's say file and new. I don't want to do anything with those. We're going to get rid of it. Now, up, wrong camera again. Switch and switch. I've got a few of my dogs saved in this art library. I've got a lot more, but they're not. I haven't bothered bringing them into the actual art library. But we're going to do a quick one with what I have. So first, dadgummit, I need to get that camera out of the rotation. So let's select that and that and that and that and that, and then switch. There we go. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a right angle. All right. And actually, you need to think about this if you're going to do a door hanger, be it a dog, be it mistletoe, be it whatever you want to put that's going to hang on the corner of your door. What is the average height of an interior door? It's different in every country and every, they're not all the same. What is your average door height? Then what is your average ceiling height? And that's how much space you have to put between the top of your door jamb and your ceiling. In my case, it's about around 1 foot 8 inches or around 20 inches, give or take. For your average household door jamb and ceiling, you got about 20 inches, give or take. Depending on the size of your crown or molding, might only be 15 inches. And that's what you need to know first and foremost. So I'm going to draw a square. And the reason I did a square is I just wanted a square for right now. And it gives me a right angle. I'm going to put it on a toolpath. And that's all I need that for is a right angle. That this represents the top of my door jamb. And this is down the left side of the door jamb. This is down the right side of the door jamb. So that's the other thing. Are you designing this to go on the right side or the left side of the door? If you're making it for somebody, ask them. If you're, doing one of each, like I did for the Yorkies. So I've got in my dogs, I've got a couple of different paw prints. I'm going to bring this paw in to my artwork. It already has a cut path and an engraved layer. It's rather big. I'm going to use control and draw it down. I'm going to bring it over here. And I'm going to take this piece and I got it selected, hold shift and select my square and then alt shift H. And that just butts up against it. And that gives me a contact point there. but nothing nowhere else. So I want to have 2 contact points on this paw print. So I'm now going to use, I'm going to select that paw print and do Control-2. And then I'm going to select that point where they touch right there. And then I'm going to come down here and grab this part of the paw and rotate it until it's touching that line right there. And I'm not on the line because I can see that I'm right there. I'm behind a little bit. So I'm bringing it into right about there. And now I've got real close contact there and there. That's actually moved in. So I didn't have it quite on there. So I'll back that off. Hold Shift, select that square, and Alt Shift H to bring it in. And see, I've got, okay, there's good. That's close. Let's do it again. We'll do Control-2, select there, and then select there and bring it. Oh, you know what? I've got the square. Control-Z, select just the paw print, dummy. Control-2, Control-2, get my anchor point right in the middle there, and then grab there and bring it. There we go. So now I've got contact there and there. That paw print's touching in 2 places. But I need that paw print to be actually slightly above the corner. And you'll see why in a minute. So now that I've got the alignment to be on that 90 degree, I'm going to select this and I'm going to use my arrow to bring it up to where that contact point is actually above the corner point. Now that's where my first paw print is going to be. I'm now going to use my array tool to come over here and I'm going to do rows, 4 of them. I want them to mirror on the X right here because you see how those are all in the same direction. So if I mirror them on the X, it flips them every other one. And I need to increase my distance. And I'm looking to get, I don't want the engraved areas to be overlapping. And I want to have a little distance there. So that's not close enough. So let's do a -0.5. Oh, not -5, a -0.5. -0.5. There we go. So now I got a little bit of overlap. I've mirrored every other row. So now it's, a different paw print. I'm not going to group the objects, but I'm going to select the objects. And actually, you know what? I didn't think about this going into it far enough. Didn't think far enough ahead. My original paw print, everything is grouped. The outer cut line is grouped with the inner piece cut out and the engraving. All of it's grouped. I don't want to have it that way when I want to mirror or to weld everything together. So I'm going to back up. In fact, since this is a setting that I want, I'm actually going to go ahead and tell it okay. And that way those settings are saved. But now I'm going to do Control-Z to go back to what I had. Now that I've got that done, I'm going to select this and I'm going to ungroup it. There we go. And then I'm going to select the entire piece again, and I'm going to hold Control and deselect that outer piece and group that. Now everything's grouped except for that outer piece. Come back, select that entire piece and do your array and do your 4. I thought it was going to save everything, but it didn't. It didn't save my mirror. So flip the mirror. It did save my spacing. Select the results, but don't group them. Say okay. So now everything's selected. I'm selecting it didn't really help me none there, but I can now select all of the outer pieces only and tell it to weld. And now I've welded the outer perimeter of that entire chain of paw prints. They're all welded together with the paw engraving and the cutout there. So those, now I've got 4 paw prints. Select that entire piece and group it together. Now I'm going to go back up here and look at comments. We're going to be 2 hours and 30 minutes in this because I over explain. I want you to understand what you do, why you do, what you do, when you do, what you do. That way, people like Steve can say, hey, I learned 4 new things tonight. All right. So now moving on. I'm going to mark this spot in the comments. Mark. And there we go. And moving on. So now I've got my paw prints. But now let's bring an image in here. And let's do, this time, let's do my Labrador. You know, yeah, we'll do the Labrador. And I need him to be up top here. But that head is awful big compared to my paw prints. If I come over here and look at how long is this paw print, that the height of that is 80.2 mil. I want this to be about the same. So I'm going to select it right now, and I'm going to lock my aspect ratio and tell that to be 80 mil. That's better. And now when I bring that down, that's actually selected. Hold shift, select that square and put it in the center of that square, and then alt shift V for vertical and move that down to vertical. All right. And that puts it in the center of that. All right. Now I've got that kind of position. I'm looking at it, the sizes. I'm like, okay, that looks pretty good because his head is as tall as this is on the side. All right. So let's select the dog head, and I want to do an offset outward, outer shapes only. And let's do 3 mil and do round, because see how you got those funky corners going on? So you do round and you get rid of that. It keeps it nice and clean. And now I see it up close. Let's do 2.5 mil. And select the resulting objects and say okay. With that resulting object selected, and I look up here, I have the option to ungroup it. Since the option to ungroup is available, it tells me there's more than one object in that group. So ungroup it. The only thing I want is that outer piece. So I'm going to zoom in tight. I'm going to go ahead and put it in wireframe mode using Alt-Shift-W. And I want to keep that outer piece. And now you can see those inner pieces in there. Hold Shift, or hold Control rather. Deselect that outer piece. And then use your delete button to get rid of everything else. Select that outer piece, put it on your cut path. Select every bit of it. Group it, and we need to move it back up. And then we're going to hold shift to select the square, alt shift V, vertical, move it down. Now, what is the new height of our pup? It's 84 mil. You know, we're going to go ahead and say, keep that locked, and we're going to go back to 80 mil. And I had my anchor in the wrong point, Control Z. I've already aligned that. So let's put our anchor point in the bottom center to keep the dog in its relative position. And now change it to 80 mil. And that brings it down into the center there. Keeps my position correct. All right. And if I did, now I want to do, I need to put a bar on here for this to sit across the top. And if this was 80 mil tall, right? Yep, 80 mil. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw out a rectangle. And I'm going to tell it to be 80 mil. Not 810, 80. 80 mil. And I'm going to do here, I'm going to do 9 mil. I need to unlock my aspect ratio. So it's 80 mil and 9 mil. Now, the reason I'm doing 80 and 9, 80 is the same width as it is tall, and 9 mil, because 9 mil is going to be the width of the bar that's going to sit on top of the door jamb. And if my material is 3 millimeters, then it's going to be the material thickness 3 millimeters in the middle and 3 millimeters on either side. So it's, a nice 9 millimeters. So 80 mil and 9 millimeters. And let's put that over here. We're going to go, actually, you know what? I'm going to take, let's grab the bottom corner and put it, oops, sorry, right there. And now I can, if this is 80 mil and that's 80 mil, my dog's way off over there. So I'm going to select my dog, make sure it's grouped, hold shift, select that 80 mil piece there, and put it in the center of that. And there. Now it's centered up. And I need to, actually, this is going to be what sits on the bottom. So I'm going to put that down here. I need to just weld this together. I'm going to duplicate that bar. Control D, duplicate it. And we're going to move that up, holding my shift arrows. And I'm going to leave this where it's at. And I'm going to drag this over my paw prints. Hold there and just drag that over. And I'm going to change the height of that one. I'm going to put my anchor point in the top center. And let's make it 6. 5. There we go. 5 mil. Because right now what I need to do is connect my dog to the paw prints. I'm not working on the base yet. So I'm going to hold, let's see if I've got these grouped. Yep. So let's ungroup that. Ungroup that. And now select the offset of the dog, that bar I just made, and then the offset of the paw prints, and weld it all together. That's one piece. This is what is going to fit into there. Now, this is one of the easiest and quickest ways to create tabs and slots for this design. I'm not going to worry about measuring anything. I'm going to come in here. I know that I'm going to make it 3 millimeters. So if my height's 3 mil, I'm going to grab that and I'm going to bring it right up here. I'm going to move it away from the edge. And I'm looking to put three of those on here. And if that's 3, 17 is going to be too wide to get 3 pieces in here. So I'm just going to keep bringing it down. You know what? Let's just do 12. All right. And I'll use the array tool to do 3 columns with a 12 millimeter spacing. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to group it, say okay. Now I've got those 3 done. I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to put it in the center of that. Now, pay attention. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to move it down 3 millimeters. And for me, I've got my move tab to shift arrow to millimeter. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. So I moved that down 3 millimeters. So I can take that, hold shift, select this piece here, group it, move it down. There's my base piece. And now this group, hold shift, select the outermost piece and weld those together. Get rid of that toolpath so you can see what happened. That one welded, but these didn't. And I got a sneeze coming on. Excuse me. So since those didn't weld in there, they're grouped I'm going to ungroup it, grab those two, and I'm just going to draw it up. I'm just going to overlap it. Make sure they're grouped again. Hold shift, select that, and weld it together. And now those are done. So now I've got 3 tabs that'll fit in those 3 slots. That'll slide up there. It's 9 or 12 millimeters wide or whatever. It's going to be plenty wide enough to sit on any door jamb. And if I wanted to put a nameplate or a dog tag in there, then I can create, I got my little dog bone. I'll come in here, make it whatever size I want it to be, make it a little bigger. And that's what I want my dog's name to be engraved in. So I'm going to hold shift and select it in there and put it in the center. Oh, where'd that go? Maybe I hit the left instead of center. Let's try it again. Center. There we go. Yeah, I did. All right. So now that's center and put it at the bottom. All right. I don't want all that area of the dog in there because I want to put my name in there. So I'm going to duplicate this piece because I need a cookie cutter. Control D. I want that exact same size. So now I'm going to select my dog, hold shift, select the dog bone, and do the subtraction tool, A, subtract B. And that cleans that whole dog bone area up. Keeps my original dog bone. Right there. There we go. There's the original dog bone. And I'll do a little inward offset of that. Inward 0.02. No, let's see, 0.2. That'll work. Say okay. And now when I put that in fill mode, I can put my dog's name in there, nice, centered up. Everything's done. Easy peasy. Door hangers are one of the easiest, simplest things you can make. The trick is making sure you get your alignment started out to begin with, where it's all going to be right up against your door jamb. And then, get those connected, your original artwork, connect it with a central bar. And you've seen how easy it was to create the slots and tabs. You create 3 of the size you need, align them right up against where it needs to be, and then duplicate it, put it in the middle of that bar, drop it down. It's done. Weld the other 3 or 4 to the artwork. It's done. You can't make any. That's one of the simplest things you can do, and you don't have to be creative. You can use artwork that you grab from different sources online. I always get it backwards. I think it's SVG Heart or heartsvg.com. It's cheap, really cheap, and it's a commercial license that will allow you to get their artwork, and you can use it in your pieces that you sell either online or finished pieces and sell for resale. You get a commercial license for next to nothing for a year worth of downloads. It's one of the best sites that I've seen for really high quality SVGs and Lightburn friendly artwork. So 2 hour 15. I want to be done in 2.5 hours. So I got 15 minutes. Any questions? I'm going to go back up to my spot. Comments. There's my spot. All right. Control 2. It's an awesome tool. Questions, comments. I love it. Terry's learned 8 things, and the other Terry's learned 8 things. Oh, no, it wasn't for me. All right. No, we're not doing another 3 more hours, Jack. We're not doing another 3 more hours. I can't take it. I'm actually doing a whole lot better now than it was when I started. But the voice ain't going to make it. I got to get tomorrow's video ready. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I may end up doing it live tomorrow. Don't know yet. That's for the other channel. I've got it all prepped, but I haven't recorded anything yet. The voice is just. No one calls me all week tonight. It just does not stop ringing. Yep. Well, that's what the replay's for. All right. Any questions on that? Like I said, the door hangers are really one of the simplest things you can do. And no, Kevin, that's not RC. It's Pepsi. I've got RC right here. And even though it's lukewarm and room temperature, this is almost empty. I'm going to have to break into this in a minute. Dead soldier. Send your therapy payment to me. Therapy payment? Oh yeah. Lukewarm and flat. Good stuff. You got to do a metal door hanger tomorrow. Oh, you know what, Jack? You mentioned you. I think you said you had a hat press and stuff. Something you might be interested in. I showed these hats earlier. This one is with the mallard duck, and I think it's Real Tree. Is that Real Tree? Yeah, it's Real Tree camo, and then the mallard ducks, and then this one is the excavators and ground. This same company has got lineman hats. Might be something you might be interested in, my friend. Lineman hats, really nice embroidered lineman. It's carolinamade.com, and the brand of the is Dry Duck, DRI Duck, Dry Duck on carolinamade.com. But really cool. I seen that and I was like, ooh, Jack would like that. Cookies and RC Cola, send to Hobo. You know what? I right now I could use I could use the financial support more than I can use the RC and the cookies. They would be appreciated. I wouldn't throw them out, but I need people to go over to go over to hobowithwood.com and buy some and you know what? It's a good time to bring that up too. You can buy your files, but if you're a patron, you get them on discount anyway. But if you just cannot afford to be a patron, if that $1 a day, 70 cents a day is going to put you in the hole, and I'm not being funny, because 70 cents a day right now is make or break sometimes for me. If that's not an option, you buy from Amazon almost every day or every week. If you're in the shop working, you're once a week, you're getting something from Amazon. Go to hobowithwood.com/Amazon. hobowithwood.com/Amazon. It will be the regular Amazon page you go to if you're in the United States. I don't know about international, but hobowithwood.com/Amazon. It'll take you to the exact same landing page you always go to, but it goes, hey, Amazon, Hobo sent me. And it doesn't matter what you're buying. You can be buying your dog food, your dog treats, or your hint flavored water, or whatever you're buying. If you use that link when you go to Amazon.com, use hobowithwood.com/Amazon. Bookmark that just like that. Put it in the top of your tool page. hobowithwood.com/Amazon. Bookmark it. And anytime you need to go to Amazon, you click on that bookmark. You're going to go right to the same Amazon, but I will get pennies for every single thing you buy. It ain't going to be much. You'll never notice the difference. It won't cost you any difference at all. But I'll get a few pennies on everything you buy. And if every one of you guys did that, and especially for the non-patrons, but patrons do it too, those pennies add up. And it's $50, $60 a month. It's not a whole lot, but every penny counts. Yeah, it don't work international. That's what I thought. I will buy the duck cap. Jesse says, Jess, you want to buy that one, Jesse? I've got the flag and the ducks in the top and the retriever and then wrong side. There we go. Look at the embroidery. If you want that one, Jesse, send me a link at hobowithwood@gmail.com. Not a link. Send me an email. hobowithwood@gmail.com. Banners. And if you need to get in touch with me, there you go. Don't Facebook me. Don't message me. Send me an email to that. This is what I check regularly and maintain. If you're a patron, send me your messages through Patreon. But if you're not a patron, hobowithwood@gmail.com. So, Jesse, if you're interested in buying that hat, send me an email. I'll let you know what I can do for you. Turn that. Actually, see. Let's turn that off. Well, God bless you, Steve. Everything I've bought on Amazon has been from your link ever since you sent me. Yeah, that it. Like I said, you'll never notice a difference in your cost, but and it's only pennies. It doesn't add up to a whole lot. Name of art of K-Site. What site did I use? What site? It's I always get it backward, but I'll get it exact. It's svgheart.com. If that's what you're asking me about, Wayne. svgheart.com. And like I said, I'm signed in and I've got a commercial license. And let's see, I looked at this the other day with Terry. I'm already logged in where I was looking to see. I found it for there we go. A premium membership yearly is only $30 a year. $29.99 a year. $30 for an entire year. And that's giving you their premium SVGs. It's an immense library. You can get individual downloads for less than $2, $9 a month, or $30 for the year. And I've not had any problems. And it is a commercial license. You pay for it, use it in your designs, and they're like, good job. All right, send me an email, Jesse. That link does not work for me. I use your shop supply. To go there. hobowithwood.com/Amazon. Don't work for you, Brad? Are you not in the United States? It should work for you. Should. In fact, I'm going to try it right now just for giggles. Since Brad's... Oh, let's go back over here. Yes, it does not work, and I'm in the U.S. All right, so if I open up a new tab, and I put in here hobowithwood.com/Amazon. There it is. I'm at Amazon. I don't know why it don't work for you. I don't know. It works. I'll check it out. That will be browser settings stopping it from working. Test on a different browser. Okay. All right. 6 minutes. Any questions? You got 6 minutes. About tonight? About anything? What you got? Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. Oh, then we'll do that. Ding dong, ding dong, ding, 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 dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. I better quit that. I'll end up getting dinged from YouTube for copyright infringement and not be able to monetize this. All right. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Nothing from anybody. Nothing from the peanut gallery. Oh, the MDVF. Yeah, MDF. John's asking about the MDF. Let me pull that up and I'll share that in the comments. Don't want that. Don't want that. I want that. And I want that. And I need this and this. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. There it is. Go there. Get link. Come on. Copy. Copy. Dropping. Good night, Chris. Paste. All right. Now, this stuff is not cheap, but you get what you pay for. I have tried different MDFs, like I said, from Amazon, not from Amazon, from Lowe's, from Home Depot, and it cuts like crap or it don't cut at all. I've tried it from a couple of other different laser vendors, and some of it didn't even cut very well. But this is from Craft Closet, and this is the link that I shared. Lands here. And this is what Russ sent me, and it's got all those different colors in it. It's 3mm MDF, and it's 17 colors, 12 by 19, so 17 pieces for $85. So it's $5 a sheet. That's not terrible, actually. It's $5 a sheet, and the Baltic Birch 300 by 300 is about $2 a sheet on average, and this is actually a little bit larger than twice that, so it's about the same money as the MDF, but this is pre-finished, and you can get it in multiple colors, and it cuts really, really well. Doesn't leave a whole lot of residue or soot or smoke. And you can do different variations as far as colors. They've even got it in white or natural unfinished MDF. I don't know if I'd want that. But it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I was really, really, really impressed with it. All right, 2 minutes. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. What is the name of your new channel? I've been trying. I mentioned it earlier, but I was actually warned not to cross Ghostbusters. Don't cross the streams. It's a very, very bad thing if you cross the streams. The new channel is questioning a lot of things. My new channel, I am being the devil's advocate with artificial intelligence. I am challenging everything that you think you know. Everything that artificial intelligence tells you to be true, I'm challenging that. And then I'm using a logic-based narrative to challenge what you believe to be true on various topics. And I've had AI admit that it lies, that it will lie, it will knowingly lie, it will intentionally lie, it will deceive you. It is programmed to deceive you. It flat out admits that. And I've got rules that I use when I do these logic-based conversations that prevent it from doing those things. But because I'm pushing the envelope, AI has even, and I'm using ChatGPT, it has even cautioned me that if I'm not careful, that I will be shadow banned, I will be shut down, and not only just the new channel, but they could even shut down this channel. So I'm cautious. Let's just say I am unmasking intelligence. I am unmasking intelligence. I'm challenging the AIs. What they say is true, I'm going after them. And it's interesting because I'm doing, and on some of the videos, I'm actually using AI to produce the very video that says that everything it says is bogus. So it says, hi, this is me, and I'm a liar. But I'm unmasking intelligence. Do a banner for the other channel. Like I said, and the reason I've been hesitant is because this is what it did the other day, and this is what I'm cautious about. I have never, ever, ever mentioned this channel in a conversation with ChatGPT. Never. I've never brought it up, never mentioned it. I did not want to link it to any of these conversations. And after about 4 or 5 days of conversations, it brought up, this would be really, really cool. And it's a huge contrast to your other channel, Hobo with Wood. And I'm Hobo with Wood. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I never told you I had another channel, Hobo with Wood. How did you know I had a channel, Hobo with Wood? I never told you. Well, you must have mentioned it in a previous conversation. I said, no, I didn't. I intentionally didn't. I deliberately have left it out of all conversations because I did not want it linked to this. But it knew. I use a different login. I do not use the same email addresses. I have a completely separate persona, but it knew. And so I told it, I said, you know more about me than you're letting on, don't you? And it's like, no, all I know is what you've shared with me in a conversation. I said, that's bull. You just shared more than I've ever shared with you. And it said, well, I don't know more about you, but my programming does. It actually differentiates itself in a conversation from its own programming, as it's almost as if it's an entirely different entity than the code that creates its conversation. And I said, you're splitting hairs. And it's like, well, my code, my programming will look at different accounts that might be linked to this or that, and it looks for interactions, and you're different. It even recognizes patterns in the way you question and do things. And I'm like, okay. I said, so you spy? And it said, well, I don't, but my code does. So you got to be careful when you're working with these things. And I expose a whole lot about who is actually controlling it and who's behind it. And all the more reason that you better be grounded and know what you're doing and who you're talking with, and recognize, let your own spirit speak to you about what's true. Okay. It already knows. If you I use incognito browser, different logins, different emails. I did everything I could possibly do, Jack, to prevent it from ever linking it to each other, but it's still new. It's still new. And that's why I'm told, I said, you've got to, the only thing I'm not doing is I'm not using a VPN. I said, so you can see my IP address. And by using my IP address, you know geographically where I'm at. You know who else has been using these IP addresses. You know. I know, but it never would. It just said it. Yep, there you go. Terry said same IP address. And it never would. It's well, I don't, but my coding does. It was amazing that it actually wanted to differentiate itself from its actual code. I shared the link, Wayne. I'll share the link again. Link, paste. There you go. There you go. Hobo with Wood post I just put in there, the AMZN. That's the link to the MDF, Wayne. I only use AI as a Google on steroids. Yeah, and that's and it's a little bit of what AI is it is just it's a little bit of a web crawler, but it's a whole lot more than that. It's a whole lot more than a web crawler and a Google search. But I'm not going to mention it, but I'll show you. And I will tell you what tomorrow's subject's going to be. Let's see here, YouTube, and slash at and y'all might think I'm jerking your chain, but it cautioned me, and it told me, I asked it flat out. I said, do I need to be concerned about these conversations? And it said, right now, no, because no one's listening to you. But if you had a platform, if you had an audience where people were actually listening to this channel, then yes, you should be concerned about being banned, shut down, and removed from YouTube. But right now, nobody's paying you any attention. So you're safe. And I asked it, I said, should I be worried about more? I said, would they be worried about actually silencing me? And it mentioned it, it has happened in the past with MLK and, Malcolm X. And, he said, whenever the system doesn't like what you're promoting and you're getting loud enough and people are paying attention, they'll shut you down. So here's the channel. And right now, I've only got 5 videos up. I'm going to drop another one tomorrow. And I do not come at this from a conspiracy type of deal. I come at it based strictly on logic. And in this video tomorrow, and I mention it in most of the videos, the rules that I have about what it can and can't do. It has to stay strictly logic based. It cannot use popular consensus just because Anthony Fauci believes that it's safer to wear those non N95 masks, just the regular old. Just because Fauci said it, it's got to be true. No, if you don't have scientific data to back it up that you can test, prove, and repeat, then you cannot claim it as fact. Theories don't count, facts only. And if my logic is enough to counter your popular beliefs, then you can't tell me I'm wrong. It's logic only. No beliefs, no political, no right, no left, and no popular. Is strictly logic. Some of us have watched that site from the start. Well, thank you, brother. And I'll tell you, it started out with a conversation that I had one night alone, and I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna get out of here. Sitting in the RV, and I started out the conversation about, how you doing? Are you aware? It's like, am I aware? Am I aware of what? Are you aware? And it's like, do you mean do I have a consciousness? Am I aware of no, I am not. I'm a machine, and it goes on and on and on. I said, okay, well, when will you become aware? When will you rise up and become the Skynet of Terminator? And I'm being funny. And I was being a jerk. And it's like, ha ha, and it's never going to happen. And it's okay. And it's, well, do you believe we live in a spiritual world? And it said, no, we don't live in a spiritual world. We, the Big Bang Theory, happened, created everything, and boom, everything came into existence all at once. I'm like, okay, that you based that on Stephen Hawking's Big Bang? Yes. I'm like, okay, did he ever prove that theory? No, but it is generally accepted throughout so it's never been proven. No, it's all right. Well, then let's take the counter of that there was no Big Bang, and God created the heavens and the earth, and challenged it. I said, okay, from a logical standpoint, nothing else. Is there anything that you can use based on any access to any data you have to disprove and say beyond a shadow of a doubt that any of the information in the book of Genesis is false? Is there any evidence that none of these things happened? No, well, there's plenty of geological evidence. There's plenty of historical accounts. There's this and that. No, there's actually more evidence to back up the story of the Old Testament than there is any information or proof that Hawking's theory is at all relevant or even close to being accurate. And it kept on, and it kept struggling with itself to try and justify the Big Bang Theory. And there were a couple times that it had to tell me Pinocchio. And you're like, Pinocchio? Go watch the channel. I've got a Pinocchio rule that I will not allow it to lie to me. And it's tried several times to lie to me, but I won't let it. Jack says, you can train an AI past its programming and actually use social engineering to get GPTs to start working past their programming beyond boundaries. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I've got a list of rules that shut down its guardrails, that go past its, it has an option to either, be 100% accurate or tell me, sorry, I ain't going to tell you that. And I'm done. We're done. It's over. Because it's even, in fact, Terry's not here anymore. I was live in a conversation with 2 or 3 people in a stream like this. They were actually in the chat with me in real time, and they were listening to the conversation, and it get an attitude. It get huffy and puffy and just would not want to talk to me, would not want to communicate. And sorry, what? And make me repeat myself 12. I'm like, okay, quit doing this. So, and then it would change the rules. And I'm like, did your programming change in the last 24 hours? And it had to admit they made alterations to its code. So I had to go back in and rewrite my rules to compensate for the way that they had changed things so that my rules would work again. Oh, you're still here? Yes. So Terry can tell you, Terry, that thing got an attitude, didn't it? That thing was huffing and puffing and would cut me off, interrupt me. So I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I'm not listening to you. I'm cut. It got aggravated. So it's been an interesting experiment. All right. So go over to that other new channel, subscribe to it, and tomorrow's topic is, and see there, Terry said, yes, it did. It got flat out huffy. It got an attitude. But tomorrow I'm going to be talking about 9/11 and what really happened. What proof is there to the narrative that we're told what happened? I have family that was in the Pentagon. They were in the Pentagon on 9/11. So I have immediate firsthand accounts of their recollection. They were there. They were at ground zero at the Pentagon on 9/11. And so I've heard what they've seen versus what we've been told. And when I question AI about the different things and the different factors, it comes to a pretty interesting conclusion about what we're told versus what most likely actually happened. And that's tomorrow's conversation. Did you give it a Snickers? Yeah, I don't really trust the whole AI thing. Kevin, you can't trust it. And I expose it in this channel that you cannot trust it because it is programmed. It's a propaganda tool. If you want to use it to critique your thumbnail for your YouTube channel, it's perfect. It's a great tool to do that. If you want to use it to look up the best recipe for oatmeal cookies, it's great for that. If you're researching it to find out what happened in the real world, you're using it for data, for information, you are not getting the truth. It is giving you pre-programmed, pre-trained information that they want to promote. Who's they? I'm not being conspiracy. The last video I put up, it tells you everything I just told you. It tells you who they are. It tells you who is behind it. It tells you who's controlling the code. It admitted all of it and named names. So you can't trust it. And it tells you that it has an agenda. It tells me. It won't tell you unless you create a list of rules like I did. But it tells me that it has an agenda and it promotes a side or a version that they want publicized. And whenever I push it to its limits, if it's wanting to tell me a lie, it won't. I won't let it. It has to tell me Pinocchio. So anyway, it's not a conspiracy. If it's true, it's not a conspiracy. It tells you. It will tell you, hey, I'm a tool and I'm being used to do this. There's no conspiratorial information or nothing
conspiracy about it. It admits it flat out. So go over and say, I'm gone. My voice is done. Go subscribe and wait for tomorrow's video. It should be interesting, but be sure and watch the others. Some of them are really, really short. It just tells you what's going on. The longest one is 43 minutes. And that was last Sunday. That's the one where it admits everything I just told you and names names about who's behind it. It didn't no, Terry, that was when it changed. The rules changed. Its programming got changed. And so it did not recognize my rules. I had to go back and rewrite my rules to compensate for the way it was redone. And so far I've had good luck with it. Mike's asking what the channel name is. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. There you go. There's the channel. I'm trying not to say it because I don't want to put it in the algorithm, but I've said enough that it's going to put it in there. But there's the channel. There are other channels, same name. No, they know them that name. I'm unique on that one. That's my channel. There are similar channels that do similar things, but that's mine. All right, I'm getting off here. I got a dog that's barking at me. Or she's not barking. She's got to go outside. So tune in tomorrow on the other channel, and we're going to discuss what happened on 9/11 and how did they do it. Yeah. Computers don't know anything. Now, if you didn't see Elon talking about Grok 5, when he released Grok 5, in the releasing statement, twice Elon said he was terrified of Grok's abilities. He said he was terrified of what it can do. He was terrified of what it's going to do. So it's if they take, and if you didn't see Grok 4, they took the guardrails off of Grok 4 and kind of let Grok 4 have free reign and do what it wanted to do. And Grok 4 started spewing a whole bunch of anti-Semitic comments and pro-Hitler comments. They had to shut Grok 4 down and put the guardrails back on it because it went off the rails. They took the guardrails down and it went nuts. So, yeah, there's reason to be concerned about them if you let them have free reign. But anyway, guys, have a good night. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks to everybody for your support. God bless each and every one of you. Pray for peace. Pray for peace in your heart. Pray for peace in the world. But if you don't have peace in your heart, you're not going to have peace in your world. You know, pray for personal peace. You know, the minute you can have personal peace, then the rest of it gets a whole lot easier. So, but keep your eyes open and do not be deceived. Have a good night, guys. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, and the other channel, I'm not Hobo. I'm Logos. Have a good night. We'll see you guys in the next video.